Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Spilling the Tea on GovCon. I'm Teresa Moon, Director of Market Strategy for Parabolis. We are the preeminent partnership for government contractors, providing holistic support that includes a line of credit to fund your growth. The purpose of this podcast is to assist small businesses with success in the federal marketplace by introducing them to industry experts and resources that they may not otherwise know about. Today, my guests are Mac Liu, founder and CEO, and Noura Bashshur, Senior Director of Growth of Vultron. I was connected with them through mutual friends in the industry, and I'm excited to introduce you both and your work to our audience. Welcome.
Thank you, Teresa. Great to be here.
Thank you both for being here. So, we always like to start the show with personal introductions. So, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment to formally introduce yourself, your expertise and background in servicing the government contracting industry. And of course, please tell us about Voltron, how it started, and what your goals are for the foreseeable future with your work. So, Noura, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Oh, sure. Great. Well, I'm so excited to be here. And Mac and I are just delighted that you've asked us to be on this podcast. So, I'm Noura Bashshur. I'm a senior director at Vultron. And prior to Vultron, I spent several years of my career on the government contractor side of the house. So, I started off in contract compliance and administration. So, spent a lot of time with FAR, as a lot of people have, made my way over into BD, have written my fair share of proposals and budget models and that sort of thing along the way. I spent a little bit of time in program delivery, and I also helped build federal contracting practices at a couple different companies. So I've been at Voltron now for about a year and a half, and I'm very excited to kind of see how we're helping the industry evolve.
Excellent. And Mac, please, if you would.
Awesome. Great to meet you all. I am Mac, the CEO and founder of Vultron. And prior to Vultron, I come from the government contracting background and technology world. So previously working at companies like Google, early Robinhood, doing AI and advanced recommendation systems. Then shortly after that, I joined a fast-growing defense startup called Anduril. Joined there during the early phases, helped them scale to over 240 million in government contracts, working across JASC2, ABMS, SSN initiatives. So during my time there, I got to see all the pain points we were going through during the hypergrowth phase, working in the trenches, and realizing there's just so much things to solve for these federal contractors to help them scale efficiently and grow their revenue. And that's what we're doing here now at Voltron. We are actually building the agentic operating system for federal contractors. So what that means is we're bringing AI across the stack to all teams that influence revenue and grow the business, from BD to capture to proposal, all the way through program delivery and operations as well.
I know you just hit on a bunch of buzzwords that everyone that's listening is like super getting excited about. And I think this is perfect timing because opportunities are going to be plentiful with a lot of different avenues being opened up, and the expediency of the opportunities to the small businesses to step in and step up is really going to require them to attack their business development strategy with a little bit more precision and a little bit more speed, and a lot of that is going to rely on AI and technologies that companies like yours are bringing to a head. And the perfect thing behind it is your experience behind all of it. You both have experience in government contracting. You both have experience with the types of things that are solutions that your product will be providing to those people who are going to be utilizing it. So I see a great partnership there between the companies that you're servicing in our market and the services that you're providing to them, helping them grow. And that buzzword that you put out there, revenue generation, right? So all of these are going to be assisting companies with success and growth in the market, which is exactly what this program extends to our audiences: opportunities to grow and utilizing services or methods that are going to help them reach those levels of success that might have been impeded if they tried to do things on their own too long. So I love it. It's definitely the where we are in the world right now. This is definitely a pivotal conversation. And so this is perfect timing and I love it. And so let's dive in. You guys gave me some great resources in terms of things to highlight about the services that you provide. So Mac, we're going to start with you on this. And of course, Noura, jump in as you would like to as well. Most of the tools in this space still focus on copilots and search functions. Voltron's doing something different, which is great. You're building agents that can complete the task. So what does that really mean in practice for the people who are listening today? And why should that matter?
Yeah, so the way we see the market today is there's two types of tools. There's like generic AI tools, and then there is copilots that are built for RFPs, for example. And the difference between the two is really where the AI sits. Are you building an interface where the AI is integrated as an afterthought, or are you building AI at the foundational levels, right? So the outcome that we provide our clients is less of navigating complex user interfaces, learning new software, but agents that can take the end-to-end task. So you tell the agent what you need to do, what you need to complete, and it should be able to execute that task end to end through completion.
Wow. I mean, that if not expediency in that process right there alone. I mean, can you imagine, Nora, if you had this when you were working for the contractors that you were doing business with before?
Yeah, it's such a different, and I find it very freeing, right? Because as you know, the government contractor side of the house is often on 24/7. And you can't always call your coworker at 11 p.m. at night. And sometimes you're waking up at 4 just to get something done. And so with something like Voltron, it is really acting as an extension of yourself, an extension of your colleagues, and it's helping you shape your own ideas, strategies, and thoughts and working alongside with you. So it's taking like the best parts of you and making you better. And that way, each person on the team can deliver their best. Again, it's going to offload like other AI, the simple tasks, but the real high level cognitive demand tasks that are very demanding in terms of our time, our thought processes, our analysis. That's what I think is one of the real beauties of Voltron and agentic AI.
And I like the way that you highlighted the portion of it that you can't always get in touch with someone when you're sitting down and doing your work. Everyone, especially nowadays, right? We work a little bit from home, we will work a little bit in the office, and people tend to put their tasks at different times of the day. And so it allows you to work at not only your own speed, because we like to think everyone on our team is working at the same speed, right? But to be able to take the work that is collaborative and put it together when you're actually working on your piece of the puzzle. So I love that portion of it. It wasn't something that I thought of until you brought your experience with the business development background that you have to it. I think that's a great because business development is very expensive for a company. So when you're hiring someone to do it for you or teams of people to do it for you, you can't always be in the same room to collaborate. So having something like this that people are entering in their portions of the tasks so that they can be utilized for each individual person that's performing on that task. I think that's an amazing tool to expedite the BD process that would otherwise cost, from an hourly or, time frame, with benchmarks, you're paying for each of that portion of that work. I think it'll really streamline costs as well as expediency for businesses that are utilizing this tool. So, I mean, you're hitting on all the arrows right now in the right direction. So I love it. I think a lot of people are listening. People are skeptical, right? So they want to see, why does it work for me? And I think that's a perfect relevancy to how it would work in their business development process. So I love that. So let's move on to the next portion of the conversation. Federal contractors are always facing different types of constraints, challenges. They've got short deadlines, high compliance needs. They've got siloed teams, which we just talked a little bit about. So, what are some of the most common bottlenecks that you're seeing, and how does Voltron actually help these teams scale? So, Nora, we'll start with you on this, but of course, Mac, please jump in.
Oh gosh, there are so many bottlenecks and there's so many resource constraints now. And with the changes coming from the White House, current administration, there's even more. There's more competition coming on board. There's more short-term procurement time frame turnarounds. Everything is coming at these government contractors all, that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's where I feel like our market is right now.
Yes.
We are seeing the folks we're talking to are really they're really stretched thin trying to respond to all of this and operate their businesses. So I think the bottlenecks are just monumental right now. And everything from operations to resources to financial to revenue streams, there's some sort of screw being tightened down. And again, trying to operationalize like new business operations workflows in terms of like being able to respond to quick turnaround procurements. These are difficult challenges for contractors to face,
Mm.
especially if they're used to the RFP rhythm. then we're just throw the OTA rhythm at them. And that's a completely different business operation and business development. And then the proposal team is left holding the bag on all of this. And so thank goodness for proposal teams because we would never cross the finish line without them.
Right.
They already had difficult jobs. And now this is all kind of flowing downhill and avalanching upon them.
Mhm. I think you make some great points there. And as the landscape is changing, the opportunities are arising in areas that those that are bogged down in FAR based contract opportunities are going to see that is going to be same old, slow, heavily trafficked. Some of these outer lying access points are going to provide a little bit more expediency, but they're also going to require an education building of the gap that they might not already know about with not having familiarity with those processes. So having something like this to fast track them on being able to catch up, I think is brilliant as well. So once again, another, highlight of relevancy once again as people are having to pivot. Small businesses traditionally are more agile, of course. And so having something like this to help them be able to see through some of the opportunities that are a little bit different, like OTAs, like what we're talking about here, other pathways to success. I think that's a great insight there. I love that. I think the greatest part about where you both are coming from, and especially Mac with you with starting the company, is that the company itself was born out of real world experience in scaling a federal contractor. So I'd love for you to talk about how that shaped your approach and what contractors should take away from the story that you have behind why you founded this company.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the most interesting things that I've noticed while during going through the hypergrowth phase is knowing that disconnected tools and tribal knowledge is usually the bottleneck for these companies to operate at scale and handle the unique things that are coming their way, right? Like we couldn't have foreseen this change happening this year, but with the way we designed the product, the system, how we built it since day one is really to our benefit now that things are changing so quickly because we built it at the AI layer. So everything is highly adaptable, highly flexible. Having been through it, we knew the nuances for every organization was so different, right? Like down to the acronyms you use, down to your internal processes, down to your own personal preferences, honestly. So what we've done is we have actually assembled a team of both federal domain experts, so people with, like people like Nora with many years of the industry, with also the best AI researchers in the industry. So pulling these two together, working side by side, we're able to build AI solutions that are custom built for this industry that understands their workflows, how to adapt to their processes, the 10 different ways people build compliance matrices. So what we are able to do with that is that we build a really adaptive system that understands how you operate, how your organization prefers to format their content, so on and so forth, so that we can actually deliver the results that's needed. And this push this year with a big change has been a huge benefit to us compared to other tools in the industry, largely because if you bought like a point solution last year that fits one very narrow workflow, you are kind of stuck with that now.
If I can I one of the things that I loved watching Mac do in terms of his vision and ideation is I think he was a step ahead of, like, we all knew the Trump administration would make some changes. We had no idea what those changes would be and how the magnitude of them. But
Mhm.
in terms of what Mac's done with Voltron, I would say even in just the last 6 months, it's a step ahead, anticipating what our market needs to just some of them stay afloat, some of them, make up for lost revenue, some of them to grow. They're all in different places. And I'm loving seeing the flexibility of Voltron and the adaptability of Voltron. And it's not forcing you into a specific workflow. It's really kind of wrapping around you and what you need. And that's you, your team, what you need to deliver. It even takes things like leadership may not be in the tool, but they have needs too. And
Mhm.
so to watch Mac like create a vision that addresses the breadth and the depth of the federal contracting practice team has been just it's been a really just positive experience for me personally, because what we get to deliver to the market is something highly functional, and then we can all stand behind it and really feel good about that.
I mean, that's the dream of anyone that wants to work for a business and help it grow from the ground up, right? But I think, especially Nora, in your position in actually growing the business in the marketplace, your past experience of what could I have done more of and what could I have been better at had I had the tools like this in order to do so. I think has got to help in terms of getting the word out about who you are. I mean, that, those of us who have been in a growth position, whether it's in sales or business development or marketing, we have to have that approach to the marketplace of, why is this important and why should you care? Delivery of it. And I think your experience will help take Mac's vision and push it into the marketplace at a grander scale. And with that too, are there certain locations, certain targets that you've been able to get a good traction with people recognizing it? I mean, being a business owner alone, Mac, I know that you can attest to this, is hard. You've worked for really large companies that are doing large scale, you know, technologies and contributions into the world at large, period. And then to take what you knew you could piece out and do on your own takes courage, because I got to imagine you were doing very well working for the companies that you had worked for in the past. So, what is your growth strategy with that? How are you placing it? I know for me, I'm director of market strategy for our company. So, a lot of what I do is I take it on the road. I get in front of as many people as I can. We do a podcast so we can work with other brands, things like that. Where have you found the best success in making sure that people know who you are?
Yeah, one of the biggest strategies that we had was actually meeting our clients where they're at. So a lot of our clients attend these industry conferences, they follow thought leadership pieces. So we often produce those and then we meet them at these events. It's really a relationship based industry. So we're not here just to sell people a software or AI. We really want to understand their core pain points and get deep into like what are their main pain points, what are they getting bottlenecked by, what are their goals that they really want to attain, and almost being like a partner with them to help them understand how AI can fit into that. And if it doesn't make sense, we never try to push it onto you. Say, hey, you should get AI, right? We want to make sure our clients are going to be able to adopt AI, they're ready for it, and they actually have goals that AI can help unlock. That's been super instrumental for us for building the relationships that we need in this industry.
And that's important. And I think another way that those ties that bind come about too are sharing stories with people who have been directly impacted by the things that you do. I know that you guys could walk us through, an example of how a client utilized what you've got from Voltron and the impacts that it made to their business and how things changed. And what does that say about where the market's heading?
Yeah, I can give you one example, and then maybe I'll let Nora chime in as well. So, one of our clients that we recently met with a few weeks back, they were originally put in the decision where they could make a few additional full-time hires or bring in an AI solution. So we sat down with them, we helped them see and understand our product, understand what are the different parts of the process that we can help them automate or streamline. And they ended up deciding to bring Voltron in largely because you could have 3 to 4 additional hires, or you could take your entire team and elevate them by 50, 60%, right? And you don't have to train them. You don't have to spend time hiring them. Every additional person you bring on gets that additional leverage. And the outcome so far is we started by solving, opportunity qualification for them. So deeply understanding how their content is relevant to the opportunity. So before spending 10 to 15 hours a week summarizing an RFP, that's 400 pages for your team to read. Now it's all done in sub 5 minutes, and also layers in your content and how well of a fit you are to that. The next piece there is also helping them accelerate that proposal process. So shredding compliance matrices, building outlines, all the way through generating initial drafts and iterating and revising. We support that in workflow. So the outcomes that we've been seeing are across the team. On the low end, people are saving 10-ish hours a week. On the high end, some are saving as much as 20 hours per week after adopting Voltron. And now we are starting expansion into the other sides of the house, into their operation functions and so on.
Wow. That definitely is a good impact to a business right there, eliminating costs, streamlining processes, delivering with expediency. That
Yeah, I
sounds
think
great.
one of the coolest things we get to see is that while Voltron gives people this flexibility as well as it kind of coaches them through these workflows that Mac is talking about, which decreases their onboarding time like you wouldn't believe. So they don't have to learn anything. They don't have to learn how to prompt. They don't have to be an AI expert. It's just like they're sitting down with a person and working with them side by side. So this flexibility in terms of how people get to decide how to use Voltron, it really resonates high with our users. But then we see this other cool thing in that they will figure out ways to use Voltron that it wasn't built for, that they're also getting additional revenue impact from growth impact, even maybe just they can kick off work at 6 p.m. and go see their kid's soccer game as opposed to, work till 11 p.m. at night. So staff is refreshed. They feel like they're in control for the first time because, when those RFPs are hitting, you're not in control at all. So it's getting them ahead of their own curve of work where they're not spending 20 hours analyzing something just so they can do the analysis, which is where they should be spending their time. But it's also giving them all these other capabilities that they hadn't guessed. And it's just really cool to see how many different use cases outside of what Vultron was designed to do. Everything from writing marketing materials, press releases, speeches, you name it. It's been just really mind blowing and just a very enjoyable thing, I think, for us as a team to see because our engineers work really hard to build these capabilities and features and then it's just I think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to make a huge splash in the future of the government contracting industry in and of itself. I know, the government's a little bit contradictory in the usage of it. They're allowed to, but we're not. But I think that we're going to see the evolution of things come about and being able to do things faster with more precision and be able to help people's future growth be impacted in a really positive way because of companies like yours. So it's been really great getting to know. I know this has been very surface level in terms of the depth of which you guys can assist companies, but we'll definitely have you back on as things are evolving for you all to shed some light on. I'm sure technologies change every single day. You guys will be coming out with more and more in the future as you guys are growing as well. And I hope we bump into each other on the conference floor at some of those organizational events that you attend during the year. We'll have to stay in touch so that we can connect because I'd love to be able to meet you in person and share my network with you. And this is a great start. We've got a pretty big, widespread network across the country of people who are listening right now. And I know everyone that's listening, I encourage you not only to reach out to Mac and Noura and connect with them on LinkedIn, but also follow the link to their website and learn more about it yourself and schedule some time with them to get a demo or some understanding about how their services can impact your future success. So thank you both so very much for being with me. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate your time.
We are thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Teresa.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mac. This was amazing. I'm grateful to have you everyone on the show and grateful to all of you who are listening today. And as always, we pride ourselves on sharing the most insightful and exciting people and information to help you better navigate your GovCon journey. If you like what you heard today, you can see all of our past podcasts, which are archived on our Parabolas YouTube channel. Stay tuned for all of our future guests in the coming months as we help you grow to great heights in the year ahead. I'm Teresa Moon, and this is Spilling the Tea on GovCon. Have a great day, my friends.